Alright, so you're getting your applications for graduate school ready, you've got your CV, your application form filled out, maybe you've even written your SOP. However, if you're not quite confident about how your SOP sounds, you might want to give it a reread for some of the most common mistakes that students make when writing their SOP. Hey guys, I'm Zane, I'm a PhD in the social sciences. I teach academic English, research skills, and I help undergraduate and graduate students study in foreign countries. I've had over 14 years of experience studying and living overseas myself as an international student, and I know what it takes to successfully apply and get into programs and also thrive in graduate school all over the world. And I love sharing my experiences and helping other people succeed in their journeys overseas. In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 common mistakes that students often make when writing their SOP. And I'm going to use a real-world example of a 500+ word SOP written by a student from Taiwan and that was edited by an application agent. Going through these steps, we're going to see how we can make it even better than the version made by the agent. In my last video, I went over 5 steps for writing an SOP and how you can come up with ideas before writing. I recommend you go and watch it if you haven't already. But just in case you forgot, the first one was make a list of your relevant experiences, interests, and aspirations. The second was do a little research about the university and the program that you're applying to. The third was to frame your expectations and purpose. The fourth was to frame your contribution. And the last one was to bring all those things together and actually write a solid SOP. Now, before we get into today's SOP, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the student who wrote it and the context. The student who wrote this SOP was a female student from Taiwan who was majoring in marketing and applying to a graduate program in the UK. Her interests centered around branding and marketing and helping local businesses modernize and adapt to the world of digital marketing. So based on the format that I outlined in the last video, I've made a couple points about her background that we can keep in mind as we're looking at sections of her SOP. She also sought out the services of an application consultant who actually rewrote the whole SOP for her based on her requirements. The version that I'll be showing you is the one that was completed by the agent. So we're going to take a look at some segments of her SOP, and I'm going to point out those 5 common mistakes that I found within them and how we can make them better. So starting from the intro, the first point is tone, or the overall sound of the paper. The topic sentence of an introduction sets the tone for the paper and should capture the reader's attention immediately. Just looking at the first 2 sentences, we see a few issues that stand out. She writes, "Growing up in Taiwan, a small but delightful island, allowed me to immerse myself in diverse cultures, especially the local Taiwanese culture and Aboriginal cultures. In the past, agriculture was traditionally the most important industry in Taiwan." So I've underlined a few issues in these few sentences and numbered them at the end of each clause. So as we can see in the second clause of the first sentence where she says, "a small but delightful island," that's a little subjective. It's kind of unrelated. I mean, Taiwan being a small and delightful island is not directly related with the main point of this paper. It's just kind of extra information that we want to steer clear of. Now, the third clause is written in the first person. It's not necessarily bad to do this, but I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary in this first sentence for her. And the last clause of the first sentence, she repeats the word culture multiple times. Like in any essay that we're writing in formal English, we want to avoid repetitiveness. And the second sentence starts with the time indicator in the past, which is just too vague. When we use time indicators, we want to be specific. As we can see with these 2 sentences, they're just not fitting together well. I don't see any connection between them. She first talks about her experience growing up in Taiwan, and then just saying agriculture was an important industry. We want to try to make the 2 sentences fit together better, have a better flow. And that actually brings us to the second common mistake, which is weak cohesion, or the degree to which sentences fit together. So I thought it would be better to change these first 2 sentences to something more along the lines of this. In recent decades, Taiwan has seen its traditional agriculture industry and indigenous cultures become displaced by sectors born out of technological innovation and globalization. Throughout my youth, I witnessed Taiwanese working consumer culture come under the influence of the digital revolution, increasingly turning to the internet and foreign countries for inspiration, and leaving behind local businesses, agricultural families, and Aboriginal communities, which were an important part of my childhood. Now, this new version comes to the main point right away. It shows a connection between her childhood and her upbringing and this situation that's emerged in the society and the economy. She's kind of setting up a problem now, and she's involving herself in it. We've made clear what the topic is here, we've set the tone, and the first and second sentences kind of have better cohesion and stick together better. And now we can kind of see how the SOP is getting set up. Now turning to the first body paragraph, we see another common mistake, not clearly stating intention and filling the paragraph with verbose wording. Her second paragraph reads, "During my time in university, my major in real estate and the built environment offered me not only a solid foundation in the commercial field, but also valuable perspectives from both the capital market and social responsibility angles. In my junior year, I conducted field research into the impact of upgrading technological innovation and cross-cultural cooperation on the development of the cocoa industry. By interviewing cocoa farmers facing difficulties due to this transformation, I found that the main obstacle to a smooth transformation was the lack of an appropriate marketing concept." So as we can see, this paragraph actually contains a lot of information, but the parts above are a little bit less relevant, and that's actually information that should be listed in her CV. So we see a lot of wording here. Really, that part that I've highlighted in green there is the real core of this paragraph. However, this paragraph does include an important finding from her past experience, that local farmers and local business owners lack a concept of marketing, and this is part of that problem that she was setting up in the introduction. So there's a clear flow here. So in the version that I rewrote, I retained some of the information from her original version, including that finding about the farmers and business owners. But I related it with her goal and intention of pursuing this master's program, stating how it relates to her future goals and aspirations. It reads, "During my years as an undergraduate majoring in real estate in the built environment, I not only gained a solid foundation in commerce and social responsibility, but also had the opportunity to conduct field research in my junior year on the impact of technological innovation in the cocoa industry in Taiwan. This experience was eye-opening and revealed that stakeholders in the cocoa industry were primarily digitally illiterate and elderly people who lacked concepts of online marketing and branding. As educational services for local and agricultural businesses are still rare in Taiwan, I intend to utilize the skills and insight I accrue in this master's program to return to Taiwan and work toward building a new brand identity for these businesses." This is a much more powerful statement to make. It directly relates to her goals in the master's program. It shows how her work in this master's program, what she's learning there, is working towards solving this problem in her home society. Furthermore, it shows that she's driven by a passion to help people in her society and her community. This is actually a really captivating message that she's sending in the body paragraph, and it's not just reiterating information from her CV. Next, we come to the point that I talked about in my last video, customization. An SOP that lacks customization to the university and the program that it's sent to doesn't really stand out. Still in the body paragraph, she writes, "My short-term plan is to take relevant courses in order to learn more specialized forms of marketing. I look forward to seeing the sparks and inspiration that my passion and your courses will create." So first of all, in that first sentence where she says relevant courses, that's very general. Instead of just saying relevant courses, why not actually cite some real courses that this university and program offers? This shows that you've read about the program, that you know the kind of classes they offer and why they are a good fit to you, why they're appealing to you. That will make all the difference. That second sentence sounds nice and uses the word sparks of inspiration, but it doesn't really tell us anything about the university specifically. She could very well send this same sentence and paragraph to any university, and it really wouldn't make much of a difference. If you do more research about the university and the program you're applying to, you can make more specific statements directly tailored to that program. This will require more work, but the outcome will be more impactful and well worth it. In my version, I wrote, "In order to cultivate my expertise in marketing for small local businesses in the short term, I intend to enroll in the course and participate in university's name annual startup workshop to gain exposure to industry best practices in marketing in host country. Furthermore, potentially receiving mentorship from professors, name, and their expertise in a certain subject provided me with inspiration to apply to this university's marketing program. Wow, this is a much more impactful paragraph, and it also shows not only that she knows something about the university, but also some specific professors in the department and what they're working on and what courses they teach. By saying this, she comes across as somebody who's already prepared to be a member of the department. The universities really love this sort of thing, and you should definitely consider this in your SOP. And now for the last common mistake, not stating your contribution. Just like when you're applying for a job, you want to give the employer a sense that you're providing value to their company and that you're contributing something to them. A common mistake that a lot of students make when writing their SOP for grad school is making it all about them. If you look at this student's SOP, you'll see she wrote, "If given the chance, I will dedicate myself fully to my studies, to integrating the Eastern culture into the project, creating a most beneficial strategy for my research." Firstly, by saying if given the chance, that comes across as kind of a weak statement. It almost opens the door to the possibility of her not being accepted to this program. You definitely want to steer clear from language like that. Second, I see some kind of vague and awkward language. By using the word Eastern culture, this is a little subjective. What exactly is Eastern culture? Do you mean East Asian culture? If that's the case, you should just say it. And following that, she says, into the project. What project exactly is she talking about? Be careful when you use direct articles like the, because this implies that the reader already knows which project, in this case, you're talking about. We want to be clearer in our statements overall. And the final clause here sounds too centered on the student's own benefit and doesn't really say anything about how she's contributing to them and their program. As an alternative, I wrote, "During my candidacy as a master's student in marketing, I see myself as an active participant of the international student community who can introduce Taiwanese culture and business norms to my peers while expanding my research interest to include local agricultural communities in the host country." This is a much stronger statement that shows her intention about her research during the graduate program and shows not only what she's gaining from them, but what she's contributing to the program and even the community. These are only a few of the common mistakes that students make when writing their SOP and ways that they can make them more impactful and better than a version written by an agent. So to quickly recap some of the tips to avoid these common mistakes, is 1, be conscious of your tone in your introduction and your topic sentences. Have strong cohesion between your sentences and sections throughout your SOP, making sure that each sentence is guided by that main purpose for why you're applying to the program. Third, your intention and making sure that all the stories and experience you tell throughout your SOP are supportive in your application to that program. 4, have a high degree of customization to show off that you've done research and that you know a lot about them. And 5, show your contribution. Nothing comes across better than showing that you're willing to help others and not only gaining the benefits from them. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this follow-up video to my last one on SOPs. I'm going to be making other videos in the future talking about other related academic issues. If this was helpful to you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm pretty sure you're going to like the content that I'm going to be putting out. I also have a link to a blog post about SOPs, so if you want more detailed information, you'd like to read through it a little more carefully, please check that out in the description below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.